Hello everyone, welcome to another episode from Lost Found Tarot channel. I'm Holly, and today we're going to do a spread with the tarot to get to the bottom of, was the Mothman legend true? And if you are familiar with cryptids or urban legends, you might also be familiar with Mothman, and this creature shrouded in complete mystery, just like many, but hasn't been seen since a rash of sightings in 66 and 67 in West Virginia. And so you can go, I just pulled up Wikipedia, that's what we're looking at right now. But there's tons of material out there, lots of podcasts on the subject, lots of articles from other cryptozoology resources, and effectively there, for a stretch of time, people were seeing this huge winged creature with glowing red eyes in this area, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And I mean, this was way back before we all had phones in our pockets and other recording devices and, you know, some of the sophisticated things that we have today. So much of that legend remains, unknown, just because we didn't have anything to capture it the way we do today. So, of course, when there's a question that no one can answer, no one that the tool I always go back to is tarot, because with tarot we can access information way beyond ourselves. We can tap into the collective subconscious, and somewhere in there is the information about what Mothman was. So we are going to do a spread on the urban legend of the Mothman. We're going to find out if it's true. I'll do a Celtic Cross for this one. So I'm going to cut in a second to go and shuffle. And then when I come back, we are going to look at the spread and see what we can make of it. So what I did between the breaks was I shuffled my deck, and I thought about the Mothman legend. Was it true? In front of us is the Celtic Cross spread that came out of that, and I'll just take you quickly through each of the cards and what the card position was supposed to be. So card position 1 was the Hierophant, crossed by card position 2 being the King of Cups. This, of course, is always our situation in crossing. Card number 3 came from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Magician. This is to represent the goal or destiny and what needs to be revealed, and I always take this one from the bottom of the deck. That's just the way I do it. 4. Card position 4 is where did it come from? So this is usually where we put the past. And that makes sense, but I wanted to modify it a little bit and see if we could get to more detail, if we refine that question a bit. In card position 5, and for expectations, we have the Queen of Swords. And I left this one as expectations because I wasn't sure what might come through. Would it be the creature's expectations, the people's, the creature if it were true? That kind of thing. Card position 6, the Ten of Swords here. Usually this represents the future, but today it's going to be what can be done now, which is also future focused. Over to the arm of the spread, starting with Justice Reverse. This is for the below the surface. Card position 8 is environment. Card position 9 as above, so what's going on above the surface. And 10, this is usually outcome, but today I put down, will it ever appear again? So now that we've spent a little bit of time casting the cards and getting some first impressions, now we can kind of dig into the analysis. The first thing that we might find interesting about the first and second card is, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. So if we're looking at the Hierophant, so we do have that conventional structure, things that make sense approach. So if this was 1966, it was a time when there was, I guess people weren't generally going to step out of the norm. So everybody kind of followed a conventional approach, and everyone had kind of the same, there was a ton of homogeny right there. So we do have that, and then crossing it is, if you look at the King of Cups as a card, it just doesn't make any sense. We've got a man on a big heavy throne, just in the water, just chilling. So that already defies logic. But let me see if I can get even closer here. Hold on. Just going to zoom in a little bit. So if you look right here, have you ever really noticed that this is a sea serpent or something? It's a something. We speculate all the time about, oh, what this little thing is and that little thing in the art here, but Pamela Coleman Smith put that in there for a reason, and I think that reason is to denote something that is phenomenal. That is either if we think of what a sea monster is, it's definitely something that we would consider a cryptid if we were going to apply it. So I think that is where that symbolism's coming in. So if we've got the conventional being crossed by the amazing, the incredible, that is kind of our baseline energy here. So I'm going to zoom back out a little bit so that we can see the whole spread again. Oh, a little bit more. Okay, that's better. Okay. In card position 3 down here, I wanted it to tell us what needs to be revealed. So what is like the key truth? And what is interesting is that in the list of what it might have been, all of the things that people said Mothman might have been, one of them is an alien. And I'm not sure that like maybe it was something, because we have the magician pointing from the sky to the earth. We've got, something that it's demonstrating its will, and it's communicating through whatever means it decides to, but something made contact. So that is definitely what I'm taking from this one. And maybe you have some other thoughts on that. What happened so where did it come from? Think about like the Four of Pentacles. It's not just about hoarding. It's not just about things like protection. It's drawing something to you, being responsible for more than yourself. And I'm getting an idea of some kind of sense of responsibility. And again, like all this stuff doesn't necessarily make complete sense because we are dealing with a topic that it's like an urban legend. Over 100 people said they saw this creature, perhaps more. But there's no proof. There's no real evidence. It's all just witness accounts. So are we dealing with something true? Maybe. What can we say about it? I think in terms of its origin, I probably should have split this into 2 cards and asked for more information. So that's a lesson learned for me. Maybe I'll run it again sometime with a larger spread to see if I can understand where it came from. In the card position 5 with the Queen of Swords there, I'm trying to figure out what can she tell us about this expectations. She's I think this might be saying that in terms of expectation, what people believe is happening, well, one, we've got a lot of clouds, we've got a lot of fog, and I believe all of the accounts occurred when the weather wasn't great, when there was some sort of cloud cover or something that kind of made it hard to see very clearly. So there's an environmental element. So the expectation being that if you were in a place that was foggy, perhaps the weather wasn't great, you were likely to see the Mothman, or possibly were going to. I don't know, that one's pretty flimsy, but expectation wise, we do have that, the Queen is in a not defensive, but she's showing, hey, I got a sword and I have my spiritual tool. I have both of these things. I'm going to approach this with logic. At the same time, it doesn't make sense either because this is not logical at all. So, just shooting from the hip right now. I haven't even gone back to any books or anything. I'm not really sure what the Queen is telling us about the expectations, but hopefully it'll come to me later if I sit and meditate with this. Okay, so what can be done now is represented by the Ten of Swords. And this one, yeah, nothing. It doesn't seem like anything, like, just what I usually get with this card is that just drop it is the message, because there's, like, it's being a dead horse. You're never going to find the truth. Whatever it is gone. But at the same time, we have that new horizon. So maybe nothing can be done right now, but the time will come in the future where we have the understanding to deal with something like this. Who knows, right? Okay, card position 7. So below, so what's going on below the surface. So if we consider justice reversed for what was occurring below the surface, there was a connection made between the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967 with Mothman sightings. And so just, for a little bit of context, so the bridge was not built to modern standards. It was meant to withstand, like, the engineers of that bridge did not, I think, to build it strong enough, or didn't want to. We're not really sure, but it was not built to withstand the weight of the cars that were on it when it did collapse. So we do see that below the surface of the issue, and I was thinking about the bridge collapse as well while I was shuffling, so this might be where that's coming in. We do have that subversion of what's right. Usually justice, when we flip it over, it's like, oh, that's unfair. Yeah, that can totally mean that, but we have to think about, like, what's beyond that. When we turn justice being, the laws of humans, right? What we have deemed to be what we're going to stand behind on Earth, as opposed to, the other laws of nature, laws of the universe. Here we are dealing with the laws of humans. So when we flip it, we might be talking about, like, that diversion away from what we understand, diversion, like, away from what we believe to be true. That could be that, as in addition to the fact that someone made a mistake further on that had a cost, and that cost is talked about in the environment for card position 8. And this never happens. It's actually really cool that this happened, that we have the Six of Pentacles and Justice together, because these are the only two cards that have the scales. Scales, of course, symbolizing, the balance between, obviously, two things. It was an important tool before we had, other means to measure how we valued one thing against another, or sought to put them in a balance that we were seeking. That's very, like, that goes beyond just things. That goes into, like, huge philosophical areas. So if we've got an environment where we have some kind of power, a problem with the power dynamic, one person has too much power, or one entity has too much power over another, and then we've got it stacked with justice reversed. So I'm guessing that the spread honestly was not big enough to contain enough of the information, because now I don't think this is so much about the creature, it's about the people in Point Pleasant who this happened to, and who kind of freaked out back, if they're in a little sleepy town where nothing bad happens, and then one year there are multiple numerous terrifying Mothman sightings and a culminating disaster of the Silver Ridge collapse. Like, they connected the two. It's one of those, I don't know if you've heard of other instances, I can't name one off the top of my head, but where some other creature sighting not predicts, but precedes a disaster of some kind. So this isn't the first time that would have happened, so that's why people kind of connected the two. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a sense that something was out of balance. There was some reason why that creature was seen. And I know I said earlier that it seemed like an alien. I also wonder if it was collective psychosis, but I don't have cards to confirm that, other than that Ace of Cups reversed. And if the Queen of Swords were reversed, I might think of that as well as an option. But as it is, I'm still getting alien, maybe not extraterrestrial, but definitely something from another space of existence, because this hasn't, the Mothman creature wasn't seen again. And they didn't have the will or interest to try and track it down while this was all going on. So it's hard to say what its origin would have been otherwise. So all we can do is guess. And the cards are telling, and not just the cards, but I am getting other senses that it was not from this plane. So either it came in from, okay, just stay with me here, came in from a different dimension, or it was extraterrestrial. So I want to do another spread after this. I'm going to do a bigger one just to see if that's true or not, because that's what I'm getting. But I'm still, as much as I love tarot, as much as I love the mysterious and unexplained, I'm still a skeptic. So I'm going to need a little bit more. So I'm going to do that after here. But if we go to card position 8 as above, Ace of Cups reversed. So this is that it's that giving lip service to something. So if it's as above, I know that there is a festival, I think, every year where they, celebrate Mothman, celebrate all of that, like, unexplained phenomena. And they have a statue erected for Mothman, or, what they believe was the most approximate image of Mothman. So I think what that card is telling us, in addition to connecting to the Six of Pentacles reversed, is whether it was real or not, it created something that people can kind of get behind. And even as you see in the card position 10, the Three of Cups reversed, where people are having a collective experience. So because I kind of got the answer with the Ten of Swords, and when card position 10 was assigned to be, will it ever be seen again? No, but people are still having that collective experience connected to that whole concept. So whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It still kind of brought people together in a weird way. Did they see, was it true that there was a Mothman? I think yes. But at the same time, there's probably a lot more that we don't have information on. And I don't know if tarot could actually tell us all the things that we want to know. So maybe we'll have to come up with another way to find out, another way to access. Maybe if anyone knows or has medium skills, perhaps try and ask the other side. Of course, you can't always take that as fact either, but then again, we're not exactly using the most fact-based methods here either. So I don't know. At any rate, this was kind of fun. We'll probably do another urban legend tarot spread soon, among other things, just to kind of show all of the different ways you can use tarot to kind of answer questions or find, truth that you're seeking. So that's it. So if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you have questions, feel free to leave those. I don't have all the answers, but I will do my best to give you something. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Have a good one.